In the last 24 hours, the COO of the company has sent an email out to season ticket holders, and the chairman of the board, who rarely is heard from, sent a letter out to the newspapers, both of which apologizing for your hockey club. Does this represent for you what the meant that you answer to, apologizing for your team, a low point in your career?
No, I think this is Mr. Tannenbaum's sincere feeling on it, that the fans deserve better, and we support that.
Brian, disappointment is understandable right now, but is anger, the intensity of some of the anger we've seen, justifiable when it's aimed particularly at players? Perhaps they're not good enough, and what's the point of being angry at players if they're not good enough?
Well, I'm not sure there's a question in there.
Okay.
What do you?
Is it justified? Is this kind of anger justified from where you're standing?
Well, I think the hard part for our fans this year is there was so much promise. February 6th. It was not that long ago. You know, the team was playing well and in a good position, and everything was fine. And none of these question marks about goaltending and leadership and all these things, that the cracks that emerge when the team goes into a collapse like we did. And I think that's a big part of the frustration, is that it appeared so near. It appeared to be within our grasp and our fans' grasp, and then we failed. So I think some of the frustration is justifiable for sure.
What happened, Brian? You talked about the optimism of February 6th. So what happened in your estimation?
Well, I think it was a perfect storm of a lot of things. I think our special teams faltered right about then. I think we had a couple really disheartening losses. I think our lack of size showed up. I think it was a lot of things.
Brian, regarding the plan, could you just sort of update what that plan is? Because there does seem to be a change of direction. Carlo versus Wilson. You've always talked about big teams. You don't have a big team right now, but you've been trying to build one for 3 years. So what would you describe the plan?
Well, I'd say the one place where Ron Wilson and I were not on the same page is that central issue, is how we play the game, what type of player. I like to dictate how the game is played. I don't like to have it dictated to me. We're not big enough to play it my way. We're not big enough to play it Randy's way, and that's has to be addressed. That's not optional. You know, it's not. We can't play the way Randy wants to play with this group. We have to make some changes. We have to get bigger. We have to get more hostile.
Should you maybe made a change with Ron much sooner then?
No, it's very easy to go second guess when things go south. But you know, when Ron did a good job with this team, and when it faltered, I felt that it was time to make a change, and I'm glad we made the change when we did, so that Randy's not starting from scratch. But I didn't sense that it was time to make a change before that, no.
Brian, just to flesh that out a little bit, Brian, because that's something that fans are going to be very confused with. They would say, well, the general manager and coach obviously have to be on the same page. You said it when you fired Ron, you said it again today, that you weren't on the same page in something that you really believe in. So what was the point in having Ron Wilson as your coach in the first place?
First off, I felt Ron Wilson did a good job coaching this team. And I feel if you're going to fire a coach, you should first give him the assets where he has a chance to win. And when we got the team in place and did win, everything was fine. No one was screaming for the coach's head in January, February. I think it took a rapid turn, and we made the change. That's what you do in this job. You react to what happens. And in my mind, it was the appropriate time and not before.
So you're saying that you gave Ron the players that he felt could play his style, and maybe you compromised a little bit on that fact just to appease Ron's way of playing?
No, I didn't say that. You can say that if you want.
Does a shallow free agent pool make for a maybe more volatile trading market as we approach the draft?
The impact, I mean, if you look at free agency, obviously, we've avoided doing those wonky contracts that I think are cap circumvention, and it's cost us a couple of players. That's not going to change. I think I intend to address the positional needs the old-fashioned way, which is through trades, not through free agency. I don't, looking at the pool, I can't see a lot of impact there.
Ryan, when you say you echo Mr. Tannenbaum's apology, should fans take that as a personal apology from you as well?
I said what I said.
Ryan, is the first line center a priority for you again this offseason?
Well, I'd say I think Tyler Bozak made great strides, but I would say for us, goaltending and a number one center would be the biggest positional needs.
Ryan, when you change a coach mid-season, you're obviously hoping that you get even some kind of a boost from the team. I know when you made the change, you were talking about how it was already free falling. Were you surprised that it didn't recover much at all?
No. Coaching changes don't historically make a big difference. Like Ken Hitchcock's an aberration. He had a dramatic impact and a long-lasting one. But if you go back and look at it, I've done it over the years, coaching changes seldom, the problems are more systemic than just the coach. And it should be pointed out, too, that, that the coaching change, from my perspective, if you go historically, go look it up. It hasn't had an immediate impact, but to me, it was important we make that change and get Randy's system in place before the season ended.
Brian, in some ways it was obviously good in that way, but more of a challenge for Randy to come in because when you're a coach, you want to get that instant success. But he was in a situation where there really wasn't much he could do, was there?
Right.
Brian, Leaf fans pay the highest tickets in the league. What do you offer them to come back next year?
I think I've already addressed that. As far as I think we've put building blocks in place where people that follow the team can see the progress that's been made despite our finish.
Among our changes, are you going to plan on shipping some big contracts to the minors through waivers, and do you have the support of the people above you to do that sort of thing?
Well, you're assuming we're going into a new CBA. You're assuming you'll still be able to do that. I'm not sure that that's the case.
Right. You talk about the youth of the group. You talk about the youth of the group. Do you have to bring in some veteran leadership to help Dion?
I think we might have to, yes. Yeah, there's not. I agree with Randy's assessment of it. We need to support Dion, not in any way replace him. I think we got the captain that we were hoping to get. I think the way Randy matches defense pairings up, the job Dion did shutting down the top forwards on other teams was largely unnoticed, but not by us. And he's a ferocious competitor and a good leader. I've been fortunate. I've had some really good captains, and I'd put Dion up there with any of them.